Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Nancy. I'm super excited to have you guys back on the channel today. Thank you for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the reasons why you are probably not getting admission into the various institutions that you've been applying to. This video is not only addressed to those trying to study in France. If you've been sending out applications to several countries in the world and you are just not getting admission and you are wondering why, I believe that this video is going to help you in one way or the other. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Like I said earlier, maybe you are already at the point of giving up. You're like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Why is none of the schools that I'm applying to granting me admission? I'm putting out so much effort into making my applications and I'm having nothing, no positive response. I just wanted to know that I've also been there and there are so many people that have also been in this situation. And that is what this video is based off my experience, the experience of so many people that contact me on social media to tell me some of the problems they are going through. And, I just thought about it that why don't I come on here and talk to the world, talk to you guys about it. The very first reason is that there's an allocated number of students that every program or almost every program wants. There's a number of students that every program is capable of accommodating for a year. So in my program, it was just 25 people. So basically, if they have more than 50, 100 applications, once they have 25 people that they think are good enough, they're just unfortunately going to send rejection letters to the rest, no matter how strong your application might be. So you just need to understand that they cannot take everybody. So it is now up to you. Before you apply for a program, you can check the admission rates, and all this information is available on their site or on Google. Some schools can even go extra mile to put the number of students that they actually take per year. So you could just check that out, and based off that, you make your application strong enough so that you'll be one of the lucky ones. Another very crucial reason is that you applied maybe after the deadline, or you applied just before the deadline, like maybe the deadline is in 10 minutes and you applied few minutes to the deadline. Okay, before you judge me, it's a deadline for a reason. So if I apply, even if it's 2 minutes before the deadline, I'm still meeting the deadline. I know that's what's running on your mind, but I just want you to know that the acceptance decision actually happens even before the deadline. You might be wondering how I know that. Every single thing that I've ever applied for, like schools and scholarships, and I always got a feedback even before the deadline. So some of them tell me, oh, I'm sorry, we regret to inform you, and then I'm wondering, the application has not even closed. The only logical reason is that they already started evaluating the applications as they are receiving them. So if a program can only accommodate 15 students for the year, and the very first week, maybe the application is open for 1 month, the very first week they already have 20, next week they have another 20, and they want just 15. If they are sure enough that they want to go with the first 15 people that they feel that are strong enough in the first 2-3 weeks, every other person is unfortunately going to get a rejection, or maybe they could reconsider and remove one person that they already chose before. It happens on rare occasions, but all I just wanted to know is that application evaluation procedures happen in advance, even before the deadline. So it is left to you to actually start, applying on time. Don't wait until the deadline. Stop procrastinating. Some people will be like, oh, the deadline is still last week in January. This is just November. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do other things. And then at that last minute, you're rushing. And that's the same last minute that so many other people are trying to apply. So there could be technical issues. You're trying to contact the school. I'm not able to upload this. I'm not able to upload that. And they're not responding. So many of these things happen at the last minute. It is in your best interest to apply well before the deadline, so that it gives you time to actually draft out a very strong application, and it gives them time as well to actually evaluate your application and look at it with time. Because I just feel like if I'm part of those that are evaluating, by the time we have 200 applications and we are only choosing 20 people, once we found 20 people that their applications are very strong, the remaining we just glance through. I'm just, because if I have more than 100 to motivation letters and everything to read, I'm just going to glance through, because we already decided on 20. Maybe we've even contacted them for interview already, because even the ones that contacted me for interview, it was well before the deadline. They contacted me for interview and I'm like, application has not even ended. So basically, you need to apply on time. Another very important reason is that your motivation letter is not motivating. So basically, your motivation letter is not convincing enough. To be very honest, I've reviewed some people's motivation letters. I mean, I'm not an expert or anything. I'm just like you. And I've also given people like my own motivation letters to review for me, just to have someone else to read it. And in my mind, I'm like, whew, if I'm actually part of the examiners, this motivation letter, it cannot even, like, it can't make it. Some motivation letters are filled with grammatic errors. Like, we all make mistakes. It is totally normal. So what you need to do is to try all your possible best to use. You can use Grammarly, you can use, you can use apps, you can use human beings to help you to actually review your motivation letter. Also, your motivation letter must make sense. You can't have a motivation letter for a scholarship and then you're writing, since my parents died, I've been the one taking care of my siblings. I just need this. This will be the best news of my life. To be honest, it is, I feel sorry for you. Like, as an examiner, if I'm in that position, I'm sorry for your loss, my condolences. But yeah, it is not a pity party. So your motivation letter is not supposed to be, oh, something that they will read and then they will pity you, and then with pity they will choose you. You need to talk about your strength, highlight your strength. How have you been able to, come out of that sadness? What have you been doing basically? And how is that thing that you've been doing, how is it going to, like, to benefit you in the program when they choose you? What are the things, you need? If you want to know more about writing motivation letter and all, you can watch the video that I'm going to link just above. If you want me to have an update video on writing motivation letters, well, you guys can put it in the comment section and then I'll consider it. So it's not like I'm the best, but there are so many things that could be better, and I know that. Also, some people use the same motivation letter for like 10 programs, 10 universities. Some even forget to edit the name of the school out. You need to actually be intentional about writing your motivation letter, because that might be the only thing that will stand you out of the crowd and make you be among those that they're actually going to choose. So you need to be careful. You need to, correct errors, be convincing enough. Don't just write stories. It's not a pity party. As well, make sure that you edit everything that you need to edit if you know that you want to use the same motivation letter. Some people also go and collect motivation letters from their friends that have gotten into the program and use the same thing. Basically, you are not helping yourself, because every application is always in their database for like as long as possible. Even if you're applying to the same school, it's possible they still have your application from the last time you applied, and they just see that it's still the same thing this guy brought back. Did not change anything, nothing added, like no years of experience. That whole 1 year, nothing, he didn't do anything throughout that 1 year. He just brought back the same application he used last year. So fortunately, it's a no. Another important reason is your reference letter. So who is writing your reference letter for you? So you need to be very, very strategic when choosing people that are actually going to stand in for you as your referees. So you don't need a referee that will be writing, that will be highlighting your faults and everything. You need someone that will actually take their time to talk about your strength, why they think you would function perfectly in that program. In that case, because it's difficult, if especially if you're from Nigeria and maybe you didn't have a good relationship with like any lecturers whatsoever, try your possible best to collect recommendation letters from like 4, 5 people. Then you can look at these recommendation letters and kind of like choose the one you're going to use. It's better you have one strong recommendation letter than to have 4 recommendation letters that everything was just wishy-washy. So there are also situations where the school would ask for the recommendation letter to be sent to them directly, so you don't have access to read whatever the lecturer is actually writing for you. In that situation, you need to take someone that you trust. Even if you don't trust the person, someone else have used, and the lecturer went out of their way to maybe write something good for that student. And also you need to be reminding them, so that they don't forget the deadline. So there's always in those cases, there's always a deadline that the school gives those lecturers, and some of them don't just care. So you need to choose someone that would actually care about your life. And if you need to remind them almost every day, which I know is very crazy and stressful, even for the lecturer, if you need to do that, you need to do that, and make sure that you have a good recommendation letter passed across to the school. Okay. Another reason which I should have mentioned earlier is that you have incomplete documents. One thing I want you guys to know is that once applications come in, they do elimination first. Those that maybe they don't have complete documents, or those that their degrees does not, like, they just eliminate first before they now start, taking closer look. So there's first round, second round, because there was something I applied for, a scholarship, and then I also had two colleagues that applied for the same scholarship, or three, and then they had contacted two among these colleagues to tell them that they were not chosen, and deadline, it wasn't the deadline yet, so they contacted me because we had a group to ask me that, oh, Alpha, did you hear, like, did you hear back from these people? I'm like, I've not heard anything. I've checked my mails. They were like, how come they already got rejected? Like, the reasons for their rejections were like their applications did not meet the eligibility criteria. So it could be language certificate, it could be something they didn't have. It just didn't meet the eligibility criteria. Like, I eventually got rejected as well. So, but at least it was like after the deadline. So of course there are some many countries in the world that will still continue to request for language proficiency, and you just feel like, no, I'm going to fight it, I'm going to battle it and all. In some situations they just go for someone that has it over, and the person can even be from your own country. They just go for someone that has it over someone that doesn't have it, and choose to be the fighter and fight for my right and everything. I mean, it's unfair for us that, okay, as a Nigerian, they still like ask me to provide a proof of English, a proof that I speak English before they could consider me for a program. It is unfair, and I know, but in situations like this, you know that you don't have the power. You cannot really do anything. Sometimes you try to send them mails and they just accept. And then when you apply, they reject it. That was the case of one of my colleagues as well, because they accepted when she sent the mail that, oh, I'm Nigerian. She showed proof and everything that Nigeria is one of the English speaking countries in the world and all those things. And they were like, okay, no problem. She went ahead and sent the application, and they rejected it like after like a week or week and a half, uh saying that she was not eligible for the program. If you know you don't have a certain document, maybe your passport is not ready or something, you can reach out to the school in advance to like explain to them like, oh, due to administrative issues in my country, my international passport is not ready yet, but it will be ready definitely before, you know the proposed resumption date. So please look at my application as an entity without, you can just look for a way to draft out like a mail that looks, polite enough, and you pass your message across to them before, and then they'll just note down your name or something. Then when you send your application, they know that, okay, something is missing, and you already contacted them in advance. Another reason is that your interview didn't go well. So maybe you applied and they contacted you for interview, or for those that want to study in France, you are definitely going to have a campus France interview. Maybe your interview didn't go well, so you want to apply for a program fully taught in French and you don't speak French. It cannot work, because we are doing projects, presentations, assignments, exams, and everything in French. So if you don't speak French and you're applying for a program fully taught in French, it could be a program fully taught in Portuguese and you want to go to Portugal, and you don't speak these languages, and then they contact you for interview, and then you're like, and you're just stammering. They're not going to move forward with you except by miracle. It's because of what you wrote in your motivation letter that they want to meet you. They want to see if, the energy that they saw while reading your letter is the same as they will see while speaking with you. I mean, you could have nerves and anxiety and all those type of things, but still, you need to show them that this is you. You did your application and you are proud of it, and you want to be in their program. You need to show them your motivation orally, and yeah, if everything goes well, you should get the admission if they have space. Another reason that I cannot overemphasize is the fact that what you're applying for does not have any correlation with your previous experience, be it professional experience, be it academic experience. Of course, there are some certain programs that they accept people from various fields. So, like things like maybe digital marketing in some countries, not in all countries. So, you need to research and find out if the program accepts everybody from different fields, or you must have a digital marketing background. So there are some programs, especially the new programs that they are creating these days in IT and all those things. They really don't mind what your academic background is. They just want to see that you have motivation, and maybe you've taken online courses, or you've been doing a little bit of these things here and there they choose you. If you need to like narrow down to programs that you feel like you might qualify for, why don't you do that as well? Maybe that's one thing you've been doing wrongly. You just feel like, okay, the world is going finance. She studied mechanical engineering and you just want to go and do a master's in finance. I mean, it depends on the country and depends eventually, but maybe that's what you've been doing wrongly. Maybe you should try to narrow down and look for things that could be nice, like just a balance in between both your choice, both your previous background and your passion for the future or your choice for the future. Another reason, though it is very rare, especially for France, I don't know about many other countries in the world, is that you had very low results. That's if you're applying for masters, not bachelors. So maybe you had very low results for your bachelor's degree. I've heard about countries or certain programs in certain countries that only accept like people who graduated with a first class degree or second class upper maximum. So in such programs, if you are there with your maybe third class degree, they might want to go for someone that has, you know, those things that they are targeting. They want the best of the best from different parts of the world, and unfortunately you just get rejected. So maybe you should try to look for, other programs in that same country or in another country, a neighboring country or something, that really does not care about what grades you came out with for your bachelor's degree. All in all, I just want you to know that, the rejection does not define you. When you get rejected, take it as an avenue for you to try harder. So don't take it as a moment where, you know what, I'm going to quit. Take it as a challenge to even do better. I've heard of stories of people that applied for like scholarships or applied to school for more than 3 years, and when they eventually got it, they got something big, huge, maybe with lots of like scholarship and lots of other added benefits. Don't take the delay as if you are not good enough. Take it as an avenue to improve yourself while waiting to apply the next year. Get your ends busy. Keep doing something. Don't let there be a change in your CV before that next year. So even if it's a voluntary job you're going to do some online courses in that program that you know that you want. You're going to go ahead and do like a language proficiency test, or learn a new language. Maybe that country they speak Portuguese and you just feel like, oh, you want to do an English TOEFL program, but maybe you just use that 1 year to learn Portuguese. It could be an added advantage that would actually make them choose you the next year over another candidate. So I hope this video was helpful in one way or the other. Let me know if you have questions and leave them in the comment section. I reply messages as soon as I can, so don't be afraid to ask your questions in the comment section. You can also reach me on Instagram or send me an email. Everything is going to be in the description box. Please do well to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't just watch this video, give it a big thumbs up. Share this video to anyone you know that is at this stage of getting rejection. Maybe something in this video is going to help the person to build a better application and come up with something good and eventually get chosen someday. So don't be stingy. Share the video with as many people as possible in your entourage, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.